academy. And what I was gonna do is on this one, I got a couple of emails, and people was asking me about my entrepreneurial journey and how I got started in entrepreneurship. And can I give a quick story about how it went, how it goes, and how it went? So real quick, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about it real. I'm get into it in essence of saving time for y'all. So in the beginning, basically, as a young person, I've always been into entrepreneurship. When I was in seventh grade, basically, I went to my teacher and asked her, could I clean the gum off the bottom of the desk so that I can get $5 at the end of the week so I could have something to eat when I went home and stuff. And also, shout out to Miss Lovelace, Kennedy Upper Grade Center. And I just want to give a shout out to the people. She gave me opportunity to understand what making my first dollar was really all about. And so after that, got into eighth grade, and I started realizing that shoes wasn't free, clothes wasn't free. I needed glasses. I couldn't see the chalkboard. I needed winter coats. I needed winter shoes. I needed gloves. So what did I do? I went over to a White Hand Pantry, or what you might call a 7-Eleven or something, and I bought a bunch of index cards. And I went around everybody's house passing index cards around so that people could let me shovel their driveway and cut their grass. And so eventually what ended up happening was people started calling me, even though I gave out my mother's phone number, which she was adamantly against, and she didn't even want nobody ever using her phone for that kind of purpose. But she let me get away with it that one time because it was about money and business. Shout out to my mom, because one thing about her was the only time she'll let you get a slide with something like that was when you go in a hustle and make some money. And so I went and put out the index cards, and everybody was calling me and saying, "Yo, can you come cut my grass? Can you come shovel my driveway? Can you come do?" And so everybody who know that I went around, and they saw me in the neighborhood, and I have a shovel on my shoulder at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, midnight, 10 o'clock midnight, walking around the neighborhood, shoveling people's driveways, knocking on people's doors, ringing doorbells at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. People looking like, "Who was that?" And they see that big shovel, they knew. And, well, they knew I was out there trying to get some money, man. Eighth grade, And then by the time wintertime coming, I was getting British Knights and Run DMC hats and shirts and jackets and stuff. And people realized, people might not knew that at the time as a kid, but other kids might not have realized that. But that was basically how I got dressed and how I was able to purchase contacts and glasses and clothes and shoes and things. But it wasn't because no mom bought me nothing. You know what I mean? But shout out to my mom, because even my stepfather, one thing when I was trying to shovel driveways, I was using his shovel. What did he tell me? $10 every day that you take my shovel out this house. It was a valuable lesson. Shout out to him, because he was trying to teach me that what, ain't nothing free in this world. If you want to use my materials to make you some money, you're going to have to pay me a rental fee. Because when I have to replace my materials, who gonna give me the money? He's absolutely right. And I appreciate him teaching me that lesson. So what did I do? Paid him that money for the time that he asked, and then eventually upgraded to a big, huge shovel that I bought from Home Depot. Big old yellow shovel. You know what I mean? And I don't even know what happened to that shovel. But anyway, he that was a valuable lesson, that when you want to get a job done, you got to buy yourself the materials to get the job done. If you want to step your job up to make it faster and quicker, you got to get a better materials, to better equipment to do the job faster and quicker. And there's nothing free out here. The world don't owe you nothing. So that got it in my mind at an early age, that the world don't owe me nothing, that I have to really get busy and get out here and rock. Then eventually I went away to the military. I mean, of course, I was working in between there. I was got into selling shoes, selling clothes at a very young age. I was assistant manager at a shoe store. Shout out to my man Pernell Williams, if you ever see this. I was working in Lincoln Mall. If anybody's in the south suburbs of Chicago, they know I was working in Lincoln Mall selling shoes. Assistant manager at age 15 at Journey Shoe Store. Selling men's shoes and stuff. So I got into that game real early. I was a key holder at 15. I was riding bicycles. Going to school, going to work. Kids used to ride past me, laugh. You know what I'm saying? Because they really understand the hustle, the grind, because they didn't have to do that. So they really didn't respect it. Their parents was giving them everything. They had parents who buy them cars and parents who bought them clothes. So to them, it was funny, because they couldn't really imagine having to have to hustle for every single dollar, every single thing that you got. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have that kind of level of drive. They wanted everything the easy way. They thought it was supposed to be easy. They thought it was funny. So, but at the end of the day, that's how I Cinnabon. I was working at Burger King. I was working at World Music Theater. I was working in a mall. You know what I mean? I always had that drive, always had that hustle, always had that grind, always wanted more. You know, I never, and nobody was going to give it to me, so I knew I had to go out here and get it myself, you know? And so then once I graduated from high school, incidentally, I didn't even waste my money on high school stuff because high school I knew was not real life. For other people, high school was everything to them. And as a matter of fact, many people still living out their high school fantasy, still talking about high school. I don't even talk about high school that much because I never actually lived high school, so I never thought high school was real life. Real life is when you got to pay your own bills. And I was aware of that. I was keenly conscious of that at a very young age. You know what I mean? So to me, I realized that I didn't have time to play in high school. I let other people play. I didn't go to high school football games and basketball games and shit like that because I didn't really think high school was a joke. I didn't think no part of life was a game. Everything is serious. You know what I'm saying? Everything is about getting money. And I was in and not even go to high school graduation because I wasn't gonna make waste my money on no cap and gown because to me it didn't even make sense to spend money on proms for people or cap and gowns when you for graduation. See, that's the type of mind frame that I had because I realized that when I finish this, I still have to go pay for an apartment. I still have to pay to eat. I still have to figure out where I'm gonna sleep. See, well, other people they can go blow their mommy and daddy's money on cap and gowns and shit. I couldn't afford to do that shit because I knew that if I spent this 250 on prom or 300 or $1,000 on prom, who was gonna take care of me? So a different mindset. So it's easy to be an entrepreneur when you come from that kind of mind state. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't playing no sports because sports didn't pay me. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, oh man, you should have played sports. Yeah, well, who's gonna pay for the cleats? Who's gonna pay for the football game? Who's gonna pay for the uniforms? Who's gonna pay to put some clothes on my back? Nobody. So therefore, wasn't no playing no sports. We're getting right to it. Let's get to this money. And you know what I'm saying? That's just the way I saw the world, and that's just the way I had to see the world. As far as then, I went away and went to the military. You know, I was always working 2 or 3 jobs in high school, but when I went to the military, even when I got in there, shout out to my man Sheik. We used to be going back and forth to New York when I was in Jersey, going back and forth to New York. We would go to Dapper Dan's spot, so we was on 125th, we was in Harlem, we was in Chinatown, and we buy a whole bunch of the knockoff stuff, polos and stuff, and Timberlands and stuff, and fill up my man's little car, and we pack it down with clothes and turn around and come back to the base and sell it. And at the same time, I was on base cutting hair. So I cut hair on base and had a whole store inside of my spot. Shoot belts, jackets, hats, all the little knockoff stuff and everything like that. Always had that grind until, they started sweating me about it running a store on a military base. So to me, as an entrepreneur, you don't really let people tell you how much you can make. So I really don't live no lifestyle where people can tell me how far, how high I can go, and neither should you. So I knew I had to get out of the military because I wasn't gonna let nobody dictate to me how much money I can make. Um, so I got out of there with a college release letter. So I went to college. But when I got in college, it's more the same thing because even though I knew I was getting degrees, I knew that how shit I had to eat. Unlike other college students, when they were there, they could rely on their parents to take care of them and make sure that they was gonna be straight. When it was time for college breaks for Christmas and holidays and shit, there was no place for me to go. So I had to make sure I was getting money in the meantime because in between time I was gonna have to get a hotel, get a place to sleep, sleep on somebody's couch, some shit like that. There was no free rides to the motherfucking bank. It's not a game out here. There was no call home. Hey mom, can I come stay with you? No. Hey dad, can I come live on you? No. If you want to know where that entrepreneurial spirit come from, it come from because ain't nobody giving you shit. The world don't owe you shit. Shout out to my family for teaching me that. You know what I'm saying? And so when I was in college, man, I got a connection and I was getting into the entertainment world and I was selling purses and knockoff purses and belts and cutting hair. I was doing anything and everything to get some money. Then I started doing telemarketing and on the phone. You would think I would still be into sales because I learned how to do sales on the phones all the time. But really, I hated bothering people, and I still to this day. Even though I have a real estate license, people try to say, why you don't sell as much more real estate? Because I hate calling people and bothering them. I really think it's annoying, and I don't really appreciate getting no phone calls. So I don't think people appreciate getting them. So you know. So that's the reason why I don't sell as much as I should. Maybe I'll get more into it later in life, but right now I'm not selling that much as much as I could. Even though I do have a real estate license, even though I am I did get my certificate to be a home inspector and did home inspections, and stuff like that. So eventually, what had happened is I opened up a barbershop age 23, 24, give or take, something like that. In my first barbershop, tattoo shop. Shout out to my man Surf, William Riles. Y'all go check him out on his Instagram and on his IG and stuff. Surf William Riles. Shout out to my girl Lolo. So in Chicago, I opened up my first barbershop and tattoo shop and stuff. Um, and shout out to everybody around there who was in that area. Shout out to my man Shy Lee. Shout out to my man Get It Wet. We was in the lifestyle and doing all the things that we had to do to make money. So I still always had that. And then after closing that, moved to another city, and then end up opening up two more barbershops. So that's the game. And with those barbershops, you know what I did? I had a mechanic buddy of mine next door to me, and I was traveling and going in and out of the country, and I'll go with him every now and then, and he had cars, so I would buy the cars off of him after he fixed them up. Then I'd take them and go repaint them, and then park them in front of the barbershop and start selling cars. That's just, and then so basically that was bringing in not only cutting hair money but also barbershop money. Anybody who ever been to the shop, got their hair cut by me, y'all comment below and shit. Say what's up, man. Let these people know, man. There ain't no cap in this rap, man. This is really what I do, and and so then I finished getting my real estate license at that time, and then I started buying and selling. Basically buying and accumulating real estate right before the market got into a crash. And honestly, when the market crashed, I crashed along with it. So a lot of the stuff that I had to do, I had to start all over, which is part of the entrepreneurial process. I was an investor, and so when the market crashed, I crashed too with it. So I had to start all back over. Started back over, and I ended up getting going traveling around, and I was doing this traveling thing with my partner before anybody else was even really doing it, traveling and recording it and stuff, man. And I might even do some clips and some pictures in here when I edit this video. But we was traveling in Europe, we was in Greece, we was in France, we was in Italy, we was in Monaco, we was in Paris, we've been all over that stuff, man, when it wasn't even popular to be recording and traveling and stuff. If y'all check it out, Travelers Rod and Carla. If you go check that out on my Facebook, on that Facebook page, I think it's still up. You'll see that, that's we was doing that shit back in 2012, 2013 when it wasn't even fashionable to do it. Um, so that's basically, I've been doing it for a long time. Started staffing agencies, temporary agencies, and stuff until I realized I started reading books. And when I was living in Cali, started reading books, and then I read Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week, changed my life. Um, and I also started a supplements company and stuff like that. And I realized what drop shipping was all about, and that really just basically changed my life. And so that's when I started Cosmic Body and different stuff like that. And now I get drop ship, and now I do affiliate marketing. I've learned how to process doing affiliate marketing. I've done staffing agencies. I've done a logistics company where I bought vans, and then I was started to use the vans to move products and things from East Coast to the West Coast of the United States of America, for all 50 states here in the continent, connected United States. And a lot of people, I had 2 vans and 2 employees and stuff. A difficult business. You know, One thing I'll say about that, if you're doing well, keep it to yourself. You know, if you're doing well, keep it to yourself. And just remember that, if you got a car business, always have tracking devices on all your vehicles. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Maybe I'll make another video about running logistics businesses. But yeah, and so just to give you guys an idea, that's where I come from, and that's how I became into the entrepreneurial world. And basically, I was always born into that. At some point in time when I was young, I always wanted to be in the stock business. I don't know where I saw it on television or something like that. It was 2 things I saw. I don't know if it was Trading Places, I think, and Rocky. So I always wanted to trade stock, and I always wanted to work out and be in fitness. So, hey, if y'all got any questions, tap in below, man. Like and subscribe if you followed the journey up to this point, man. Give me a shout out, man. I answer any questions. And I appreciate y'all being here, man. I'm out, man. Y'all take care. Peace.